Mazda says that in 2030, only 20% of all of its car production will be electric cars. And it says that between now and then, it will primarily focus on gasoline-powered vehicles. In fact, it's investing hundreds of millions into next-generation internal combustion engine technology, which may produce an efficiency gain of 1 or 2%. Last year, Mazda sold a near record low 1 million vehicles. The first quarter of this year, they delivered only 200,000 cars worldwide, right after they received a $4.2 billion bailout from a consortium of Japanese banks. Global wholesale volumes slumped 36% to 166,000 vehicles. Shipments to the North American market were down 37% and European volume fell 57%. Chinese volume this year has fallen 60%. Mazda said it will pursue price hikes in the United States because its profits were plunging. This is during the greatest disruption in history, the electric vehicle revolution. Mazda have no compelling electric cars. The only one they have is dead in the United States and will soon be dead worldwide, along with this brand. Mazda's electric car is virtually dead in the United States. It's losing market share in almost every country in the world. This company is probably the first automotive company to fall, to go bankrupt. I mean, it's already asked for a bailout of billions of dollars. And now, my friends, it's just too late. Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. For those of you who are new, my name's Sam Evans, and I'm right now based in Melbourne, in Australia. Now, if you're in Australia, I'd love to see you in person at the Fully Charged show, which will be in Sydney in March next year. If you're in North America, I'd also love to meet you in person. Seriously, you should come to Fully Charged show. It's being held in October next year, and yeah, I'm going to plan on making a big tour of it, traveling around the United States. I can't wait. I'm really excited to do it, actually. But if you want to know about my last trip, I'll put a link in the description below to my website, my personal site, which I haven't worked on for years, but it's got my travel journal there from my trip around the world, and especially my trip from Seattle down to Mexico, down the Highway 1, which was an amazing journey. In fact, I'll put a link in the description below to the video I made about that journey, which was epic. I met some amazing people. So Mazda, unfortunately, they are screwed. When I say screwed, I mean they are epically screwed. If you look at this from, there's actually really no possible way of looking at this car company and saying they're going to survive this transition, this disruption. Who they're going to be? The key question here is not can they survive, because it's just impossible. Look at the numbers, you do the maths, it's just impossible. The key question here is who is going to own the Mazda brand name in 2030? Will it be Geely? I mean, Geely'd love to pick up a brand name here and there. Will it be SAIC? Will it be, I don't know, could be anyone. It's not going to be, but personally, I don't believe it'll be a Japanese car company. I believe the Japanese auto market is going to be absolutely decimated. I think there's a lot of people who would agree with me on that. Some people who don't. If you don't, let me know why in the comment section below. But make it logical. Please don't tell me this hydrogen nonsense. You're emailing me with this garbage about hydrogen, about how Toyota is going to pull off this miracle hydrogen disruption and to change the world. Just keep it logical. I mean, there's no point going into the world of fantasy here. The point of this channel here, guys, is we try to keep things logical and as sensible as possible. The world of hydrogen fantasy, it's over. You know what? Shell is closing its hydrogen stations. Yeah, that's what's really happening. I'll make a video about that very soon. In October, Mazda's sales in the US, just so you know, Mazda's biggest market is the US. Mazda's second biggest market is China, or it was China. Yeah, it's not anymore because they're in trouble in China, big time. Mazda's third biggest market is Japan, which is about equal with their market for Europe. Now, the problem here is, you've probably seen my video on their EV. The EV they made what do they sell in the US? Like 8 in the last month or 2 months or something. Whatever the case may be, it's dead. It's finished. You know why? It was garbage. I mean, the thing is, it wasn't cheap. If it had been cheap and had the abysmal range that it had, really low range. What was it, like 150 miles of range? And the thing is, it's expensive. In Australia, they're more than $60,000. Anyhow, my key point is here. Mazda's not ready for the electric vehicle disruption. They clearly are not making many EVs. It's an abysmal. In fact, I think about 2% of their worldwide sales are electric cars. And the main EV they make is just hopeless. It's been just written off by everyone. That's a big problem. But even a bigger problem is the fact that they're losing market share at an insane pace. Now, here's what Seeking Alpha had to say, though. They said, you should buy the stock because it could rebound 40%. And I unsubscribed. I've cut my subscription from Seeking Alpha. What a massive waste of money that was. I told them why it was. And interestingly, since I told them why I cut my subscription, they've sent me articles that seem to be saying, yeah, you made a good point. Maybe this is just my confirmation bias here. But saying, you made a good point. Yeah, maybe we were right. Maybe we went too far with our ridiculous criticisms and just overly emotional bagging of Tesla. Now, I have no problems if you're going to say something about a company which is logical and factual. But if you're going to be caught with your pants down because you're just making emotional statements, then frankly, you're going to lose subscribers. And Seeking Alpha clearly are losing subscribers for this reason. This whole ridiculous clickbait scenario doesn't work. So the claim that Mazda is going to rebound by 40%, there's just no facts to support this claim. Mazda's North American car sales, they said, rose 29.7%. So therefore, the stock's going to go up 40%. Well, how about we consider their car sales for the whole year? Because I mean, you could sell one car, right? You could sell one car in September. And if you sold 2 cars in October, your sales are up by what? 100%. Wow, sales are up 100%. We went from 1 car to 2. So that's just nonsense because Mazda's sales in the US are actually down by 18% this year, which wouldn't be so bad if they hadn't been down, for the last 3 years in a row. And wouldn't be so bad if their sales weren't down and collapsing in their second biggest market, which is China. And wouldn't be so bad if your 5th biggest market was also collapsing, Canada, down 16%. And what about Australia, one of your most popular? In fact, Australians buy more Mazda per Mazda vehicles based on our population size than any country in the world. And Mazda sales here are also free-falling. Mazda has all kinds of excuses. There's all kinds of excuses. But you know who they're blaming? They're blaming China. Seems like a convenient excuse to simply blame China. In 2017, in China, Mazda sold 320,000 cars. The following year, their sales dropped by 14% to 274,000. Still not too bad. The following year, sales dropped again by 18% to 224,000. The following year, sales dropped by 16% to 189,000. Then in 2021, Mazda's sales free fell in China to 170,000 or minus 22%. This year, things are looking even worse. Mazda is now selling literally in the single-digit thousands in China. I mean, for example, they were averaging around 25,000 vehicles per month only a few years ago. They're now averaging 6,000 vehicles per month in China. Their what was once, only a few years ago, their second biggest market in the world, every month, 6,000 vehicles per month. Now, this is the world's biggest car market. 23 million cars are sold there on average every year. So I just said to you, they were down 20%, 20%, 20%. Well, now they're going to be down around 70% this year. Basically, Mazda is just completely finished in China. They don't have any compelling electric cars. The market is rapidly shifting to EVs. Mazda will not exist in China within the next couple of years. And if they do, it'll be in minuscule numbers, which will mean they'll be making a loss in the country. So what about Australia? Australia's a big market for Mazda. Sales here are down 40%. Like I said, Mazda blames China. But it seems as though, realistically, the truth is, Mazda should have the massive capacity for overproduction considering its massive sales declines. The reality is, Mazda does not have a car production problem. They're lying. What they have is a demand problem. Unfortunately, this is hitting them at the worst possible time. Sales are down massively in the US. Sales are down massively in China. Sales are down massively in Canada. Sales are down massively in Australia. And this is a small car company which said a few months ago it's focusing on producing its next generation of internal combustion engine vehicles. So rather than investing every spare cent it has into the EV transformation, into changing its company, it's just hoping and praying that people will continue to want to buy its internal combustion engine vehicles for the next, I don't know, the next 50 years or the next 10 years, or just as long as the people who are working at Mazda now quit and retire and move on. But as you can see, people aren't buying them. People are moving away from Mazda. Now, all of this wouldn't be so bad if the company was in a good cash position. But the reality is the stock values the company at only $4 billion, but it has debts of around $16 billion. And it clearly does not have the capacity to pay back those debts. How on earth are they going to generate the kind of cash that they need to pay back that debt while transforming their company to building electric cars? It's simply impossible. The thing is, as well, Mazda requested a $4.2 billion bailout only a year ago. Reuters says that Mazda received a financial boost from Japan's so-called mega banks, Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group, and Mizuho Financial Group. Mazda was already facing financial challenges before the coronavirus pandemic even hit, because despite its position as the best-selling brand in Australia, it isn't very strong in any other major market in the world, including its own home country of Japan. According to Nikkei, the company already had $6.25 billion worth of interest-bearing debt before it was forced to shut down its Japanese and US-based factories and suffered a massive decline in sales. It suffered a massive decline in sales during the pandemic. Since the pandemic was over, guess what? The decline has accelerated. The COVID pandemic simply was really irrelevant. The truth is, what has happened to Mazda was going to happen to them no matter what. And here's the biggest problem Mazda have. The US is clearly their biggest market. Clearly they've lost a massive amount of market share. So they need to. They have to hold on to the sales and market share that they have right now. Can they do that? Of course they can't. It's just an impossibility. Do they manufacture EVs in the US? No. Do they plan on manufacturing EVs in the US? No, they've confirmed they won't be. This means their vehicles won't comply with the Inflation Reduction Act requirements for EV tax credits. Mazda, it's rumored, is going to look to someone to save them. They're hoping, rumors are, that Toyota will bail them out. That Toyota will somehow make a bunch of electric cars for them in the US for them to rebadge and sell as Mazdas. Well, what do you think the likelihood of that happening is? Is Toyota making EVs in the US right now? Do they have plans to make a lot of EVs in the US? No. Toyota will not save Mazda. That is simply not going to happen. Toyota is going to have a very difficult time, even just saving itself. Seeking Alpha, there is zero chance that anyone who invests money in Mazda right now will have any money left. Seeking Alpha, please, for the love of everything that's good, do not recommend anyone buy Mazda stock. That would just be the worst decision that I've ever heard. Now let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.